Okay, so here we are. We're on the other side, and we're going to talk more about now the meaningful needs in the world. How sometimes we can't sort out all our gifts, our essential qualities. We can't sort out, clearly what our symptoms are. We're kind of have a little bit of a flat line of a life, and there's not a lot of passion, but there's not a lot of depression. And we're concerned about a few things, but nothing that really grabs us and really tackles us. But when we talk about meaningful need, again, we're adding it into the formula. We need to be aimed at something. Destiny is the word comes from Destares, which means that your star is aimed towards a particular direction. There's kind of an arc. We're kind of. It doesn't mean that it's the answer, the only answer, and you have to do that, and there's only one answer, and all the rest of it. It just means that with all of our true nature, our essential qualities and our natural gifts, and we're aimed towards a particular direction. And the meaningful need you can pick from your so-called destiny, or you can just decide. I need to work with elephants. I don't know what it is. As a kid, I was always dreaming about elephants, and I'm fascinated, and there's definitely a problem with all the ivory and all the killing of elephants in the world. So I'm just going to aim myself towards a meaningful need of looking after elephants and making sure we restore elephants to their once abundant numbers and whatnot. And then that allows you. Then you have to step into your gifts of speaking and your skills of being able to organize some sort of social enterprise that can get people's attention and be able to do some social activism and be able to put your foot down around certain things. And it might have you stepping into a gift of leadership and bringing some, a deep essential quality of friendship and joy along those lines. So sometimes the meaningful need, if we start with that, can really start to mobilize the formula towards a meaning, and prosperous life. Does that make sense? So another way of saying a meaningful need is your ultimate concern. What have you always been concerned about? What gets under your skin? Sometimes we grow up with, struggling with addictions. You've been secretly trained around addictions. What if the meaningful need for you is to work with people who have addictions? And it may be that it's not addictions in general. It might be addictions with around gambling, because you know that intimately, and it keeps you on track and keeps you on purpose when you're able to work with others who have that similar kind of challenge. And so the meaningful need, could you be an addictions counselor that specializes in folks with addictions around gambling, and you bring a fierce amount of compassion and wisdom around that, because you have lived it, and you've also have a degree on top of that, and so that allows you to hang your shingle or work with an addictions company. If you found yourself growing up, very unloved, you might have a very deep, heartfelt, natural gift and essential quality, and your true nature could be aimed towards people who are unloved, and it could be street kids. So working with street kids for you understand that, because you might as well have been a street kid, because you were so isolated, your parents were busy working, and you didn't have a lot of love and connection in your life, because you were sent off to boarding school, you were, just put on the back burner, so to speak. Nobody was being deliberately malicious and nasty. Your parents weren't doing that. It was just that you felt that they didn't have a lot of love in their life because of where they came from. They came out of poverty, they came out of struggle, they came out of a country where there was a lot of refugees, and so they weren't able to give you the love that you needed, and then you bumped into some trouble on the schoolyard, and it never got resolved because they weren't there, and you see what I'm saying? So that's one way of thinking about, the idea of a meaningful need. I mean, obviously, there are some big meaningful needs in the world. We can look around and we know that, definitely we could do with some decent politicians in the world, and politicians you've probably seen by now. I'm not a great speller. I kind of love that about myself. I used to think that was something nasty or terrible, and here me with 3 degrees and, written all sorts of papers. I still don't know. So you get the picture. It could be that you're really concerned with the environment. And it turns out down the road from you, they're going to, you're going to rezone the natural bog that's been there for thousands of years for development. And that just gets under your skin. Well, you might have to get them out there and start to really challenge that. And it might be a 4-year struggle, or it might be the one I was involved in, a 13-year struggle. It could be that, the environment is your meaningful need. So we're talking about meaningful needs. I mean, I know, I'm not the only one who can come up with this list, but, we can add poverty to that, can't we? We can add abuse. We can talk about, the lack of leadership, that we really are following, an old style leadership, and some people that are really talking about espousing a very old way of doing things. And our leadership has sort of been based on a lot of, the old masculine principles, but what if you were bringing the masculine principles with the feminine principles together into a third kind of leadership, which is the best of both worlds? When I mean masculine leadership or masculine energies or feminine, I'm talking about the masculine is the doing energies. I'm not talking about gender. Masculine energy is the doing energy, getting stuff done, killing it, going after it, being efficient, being successful, climbing up that mountain, getting it done, da-da-da-da. And then the other part, the feminine energies, is just what goes on, after you finish work, which is just, relax, and just, connect with people and rest into, just being you and, connecting with beauty and storytelling and playing games with the kids in front of the fire and just being at home and being connected and belonged and feeling that wholeheartedness. And sometimes we got to go out to the day and get going and going and going, and we got to put that hat on of doing, getting stuff done, knocking things off our list. But if we can't match that with the feminine energies of just being, of just relaxing and just being ourselves, period, then anyway, you get the picture. That's a different kind of leadership. So, I told the story earlier about, a meaningful need. It could be, the history of our architecture. It could be, that you're concerned with, the old, about heritage and about stories. It could be that you're really concerned about the preservation of cultural language. It could be that you're in charge, you're concerned about keeping families together. What is your ultimate concern? Sometimes we don't know where our meaning and prosperity is because we're not dialed into our purpose, because we're approaching it saying, what should I aim for? What should I aim for? When we kind of climb up the tree of our life and think about, okay, well, wait a minute. What are the things that have always bothered me in my life? What am I really concerned about? What is my ultimate concern? And work backwards from there. Then we have to mobilize certain gifts, and we have to mobilize essential qualities. We have to activate a very different life to live this meaning and prosperous life. I know I'm preaching to the choir. You understand this. All these different elements of the formula all have nice, long, healthy roots on them, and lots of elegant bloomage on top of that, and lots of flowers and fruit and good foliage, and there's a lot of, as you metaphorically, there's a lot of bees that will come uninvited as if you're stepping into it, and that is that life of meaning and prosperity. So I hope this all makes sense to you. Again, any questions, it's info at thenaturalgiftsociety.org, info@thenaturalgiftsocieties.org, or you get yourself a book. There's $20 Canadian. If you're living in the States, I think the translation is probably $1.50 by now. No, just teasing. Our dollar's coming back. It's coming back. Or call us for an assessment or buy the meditation. Dave Waugh, he's on our board of directors. He has a wonderful healing voice. The meditation download is also very, very loving and connecting, and helps us step into this whole formula. And the whole formula has been thought about. We want you to not take it verbatim, that this is exactly the way it is. We want you to say this is a guideline for meaning and prosperity, and it is what we found to be very useful as a guideline to help people move towards, really taking responsibility for their life and really starting to contribute, the beauty that they have inside of them, so that they're involved in contribution. They're making a difference. They do matter. Right? We need to love unafraid in our lifetime. We need to live fully and vibrantly and with authenticity, but we also need to make a difference. I hope this has been useful. Thank you so much for joining me. Michael signing off from the Natural Gift Society. Bye for now.